This is Out Loud and Laughing. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are joined by a man who redefined what it means to be a village in the modern world. He's the internet's favorite Brooklyn dad, a high-end wedding visionary, and the heart behind the viral at NYC Gay Dad. José Rolón didn't just survive the unthinkable, he chose to grow a family in the middle of a storm. He went from planning NYC's most glamorous weddings to navigating the beautiful, chaotic glory of raising 3 kids as a solo gay dad. Kudos to you, Jose. Whether you've seen him dancing with his kids on TikTok, laughed at any of his hysterically crafted or hardly political content on Insta, or are you familiar with the story of resilience? Get ready to feel all the feelings. Jose, welcome to the show.
My gosh. Wait, when you first said village, I thought you were going to label me as a villain. I'm like, oh,
Well, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah,
yeah, this is the kind of podcast I want to be on.
it's up to you. This is all about you. So, village or villain, bring it on.
How's it going, Jose?
It's good to see you guys.
Yes, we're happy to have you on. Are you bearing the cold like I am right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane right now. I thought we had that last week or the week before, but here we are again.
Which
Yeah.
climate are we talking about? There's a lot of ice going around. There's a lot of weather going around, and the political climate feels a little icy. Do you see what I did there? I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard the icebreaker in that. Um,
Ooh, touche.
I'm in Brooklyn Heights and it's just freezing all around. And luckily that is the one ice activity that I see around here. But the year is young.
The day is young. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah, John, just for context, I'm on the other side, Jose. I'm in Jersey, right on the other side of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And John's in Florida. So John doesn't realize when we drop, 10 degrees in a day, we feel it here. Well, I guess you feel it in Florida too, but it did it yesterday and it's not great.
Yeah. And I'm at the bottom of the hill on Brooklyn Heights, so I'm right off the water as well. So it's freezing. Anyway.
Well, Jose, we would love to get right into it. But before we do, we would love to give our viewers insight into your original story. That dates back to 2013, where you dealt with death, but the hope of starting the family. So like all the feels, if you could just give our viewers, our listeners, a little bit of insight there.
Yeah. So I would say in got married in 2010 to my husband Tim, and it was we had this amazing, wonderful courtship, and we decided to start a family. And in 2013, we decided to go through surrogacy, and so we found an amazing Brazilian egg donor. A lot of people don't know that half my kids, all 3 are half Brazilian. Um, and we found this incredible surrogate, got pregnant in 2013, and our son was born. And we seemed to, I don't know, thought that wasn't enough for some crazy reason. We would just go for it again. And then we got pregnant again, same surrogate, and they were right around the time we found out it was twins when they were at 10 weeks old, which was insane. And then at 11 weeks, unfortunately, when my husband went away on a business trip, he passed away. So it left me being a widower at a time, that was not that it's ever convenient to lose anybody, but yeah, just the fact that it happened when we were 11 weeks pregnant with twin girls, which meant that I only had 12 weeks to make this decision. I only had 1 week to make the decision to follow through the pregnancy, because at 12 weeks, according to the state of Georgia, you're not able to make that decision anymore.
Wow.
And so I often share that it was clear that I was going, for me, to abort, because I'm like, who the fuck am I to raise 3 kids on my own? It's just insane. And I made the decision on the day of my husband's funeral that it was sort of this moment that hit me that my son just lost his dad. And I thought, well, fuck, like, what if something happens to me? I don't want to leave him alone in this world. So not only did I decide to follow through the pregnancy, but I announced that we were pregnant while giving his eulogy. Nobody knew we were pregnant except for maybe a select few. And so, yeah, it, it was like really this just insane ride. That, to be honest, you know, part of the reason I shared it at the church, I honestly couldn't tell you if it was like 400 people. There was just so many people there. And I thought this is the time to do it because I have all of the right people in this room that's going to help me. And fast forward, we ended up like, I ended up having a bigger support system than most two parent households because I'm a man and people just assumed I didn't know what the hell I was doing. um and also just I think when you are in the LGBTQ plus community and you decide to move to a place like New York, you're cultivating your chosen family, and it's a different thing than from your own family. And and even though my family was also here to help, um it's my chosen family that has stayed to this day. And it does take a village, or a city in this case, to raise kids. So that's the beginning part of my story there.
It's
And then
amazing. I'm
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to
yeah,
I wanted to backtrack a little bit
let's do it.
because you mentioned you dropped the news of the pregnancy at your husband's funeral. And it's just one of those things where, the way that we deal with grief and the way that we deal with death, sometimes when we go to these events, we think that we're just going to say goodbye, but like you don't really go to a funeral to expect this receiving of news or a gift back. I almost wonder how that changed the experience for everybody. Did anybody mention that to you?
Damn, that's a great question. I'm going to be celebrating my 50th in February, and a lot of my people are going to be all in one house. And so I'm going to propose that question to them. I think I I think there was like this sense of hope for people in that moment, and also I think that you know there is something about, so my son is my late husband's biological child. And so there's this like beautiful blessing that he's left behind. The girls are biologically mine, but all three have the same egg donor. And so I think I think people were kind of like curious about, like, there were a select few people that knew, and I think people were sort of curious, like, you know, would he do it? Would he actually go through it? Will he not? And I think for the few people that knew, I think there was a sense of relief. And I can tell you right now, my surrogate who was there at the funeral, I had already told her that I wanted to follow through. I knew she was relieved. And she's not biologically connected. She's not the egg donor. So it was my decision to make, which is so rare, right? We often talk about women who make the decision whether or not to keep a child, but it was actually in the hands of me being a man. And it was all on me to do it. And so I think for her, um, she told me afterwards that she was really happy that I decided. She didn't want to throw her opinions in there, but afterwards she was really happy that I made that decision. And I think a lot of other people did too. I think sort of like between that announcement and then in the following weeks, I think people thought I was crazy, but also happy for me, and ready to jump in when they can to help.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful story. I also went through surrogacy, and I remember the heaviness of just talking about, even before even doing our first transfer, like talking about abortion and all these like things that we're not really used to talking about, right? So yeah, it's a lot. And so I also think like So you're definitely a dad, right? I think you wear another hat where you're also a Spanish man, and like John and I we're both Cuban, so we were raised Cuban, in Florida, and you grew up very traditional, like John and I, in like a macho household, and so we want to talk a little bit about that because we know you're famous for your happy cry and showing deep emotion, but how much of your content is a conscious effort to essentially unlearn this toughness? And we were raised with the same for the sake of your kids. And honestly, help me because I'm in that same boat.
Help us.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's funny. I just came across this feed, like one of my old videos where I'm talking about getting my ass beat growing up, right? And and yes, you grow up with this machismo. You grow up uh, learning that, you know, um, like I even remember one time, like my dad, I was walking. We had this really small apartment, and I walked down the hall to go to my bedroom, and my dad was like, "Come here," and then and I come over, and he says, "Turn around," and then he slaps me on my ass and says, "Now walk like a man," right? Like it's that, it was like that
Yes.
energy. My dad was a Marine. He was a firefighter, also a drug dealer. And we did grow up in a Puerto Rican neighborhood, so the machismo thing was like full on with him, and I think there was I think being gay is what helps unlearn some of that, right? Like, I think, because I think, naturally we can be a little bit more sensitive. We can be a little bit more in tune. And when we reach that point in our lives where we're allowed to, express it more instead of being sort of closed in. And for me, that would have been in college or at summer camp when, I wasn't around the neighborhood and I could play like, I could be Peter Pan. I could play these like roles and I could like skip up and down and, I could choose drama over sports at summer camp. But yeah, there is this, it takes years of figuring out how I mean, Latinos don't even believe in therapy.
No,
Like
they don't.
Right?
you're not an alcoholic, you just drink too much. You don't need, it's like it's all these things that you just have to un- unlearn or relearn. Uh and I think I knew that when I was gonna have kids, the list that you keep is often a list of the ways you want to be. For me, it was the list of things I didn't want to be. And when I pointed at those things on the list, it was everything that my father was. And so, it was about allowing my kids to cry and be okay, allowing myself to be vulnerable, allowing uh just to be compassionate and to be sensitive. And the one thing I want to talk about with, like, when I think about the passion, which is crazy, like, yes, Latinos were passionate, but I think Latinos use that word a little bit too comfortably. We're like, I yelled at you and I came in your face because that's how I am. I'm passionate. I'm like, no, you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And that for me, I had to kind of like teach myself, like, no, passionate means something else. Or like, if I'm not in a relationship where there's not that push and pull mentality, mira, if we're not fighting, this ain't no real relationship
Yeah.
type of thing. I had to learn that, like, oh my God, like I met somebody that you don't have to have that push and pull mentality
Mhm.
to be passionate about the person that you're with. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but you're definitely having me think about.
You're spot on. And like, I want to like say to my dad, and we've talked about this often, but like, there's a difference between passionate and like being unable to emotionally regulate. Okay. Like,
Yes,
there's a difference.
that's
Being
so true.
passionate about something that you know a lot about and you want to share, that's passion. When
Yeah.
it gets a little bit out of context for me is when you start to project all of the ways that you don't feel the ways that you try to make somebody else feel about themselves the way you feel about yourself, right? Like, keep that shit in, guys. And, our family's really good at it. And me and Brian, one of the reasons why we started this podcast was to go on the journey of going out into our community, meeting people like yourself and validating the things that we believe, which is exactly what you just said, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's not only in our community. I think it's sort of like a generational thing as well. I mean, I definitely we can label it as machismo in our community, but you know, it's so important for our generation to have people like yourselves and dads like you to exist. How do your kids respond? Like what sort of things do they say back to you that you think that is a little different than how you would have responded to your father in the past?
It's what my kids know. So, they don't have any sort of comparisons, but I think that they appreciate that they can be who they are without feeling like I'm gonna judge them. Especially now, right? Like as we're entering, my son is 12 and the girls are 11, and so they uh they have a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions right now. But it's good that I sort of help them to discover these ways of communicating early on, because I know I might be speaking too soon. They're not quite teens yet. I know they're going to give me a lot of shit, a lot of problems. Hopefully, not too many. But I think I feel confident that they are going to be able to express themselves openly in a way that hopefully will be respectful, and they know that they could come to me about anything. Like we do this thing every 6 months where we sit around in a circle, and I say to them, you know, we go around and we're like, all right, what's one thing that you think that I'm good at? Like what do you see me thriving at as your father? And then what's one thing that you wish I would be better at?
I love
Right.
that.
And then we do that for each other. We go around. All right, Lila, it's now all of us are focused on Lila. Then we're focused on Avery. And and we're honest with each other. And for years, the part of the Latino the thing that was hard for me to break, I'm not physical with my kids. I don't physically abuse them or anything like that. I was able to break that cycle. But I was a yeller. And for about 2 years, when we would have that meeting every 6 months, almost all three of them would say, "We wish you would yell less. We think you yell too much." And they were right. I would. They haven't said that to me in like 3 years. I mean, usually now it's like I swear too much, like stop swearing, or I wish you would cuddle with me more, or things like that, right? But you know, being able to have that open conversation with each other allows us to really kind of put a mirror up and recognize, what we need to improve on and what we need to work on. That's not stuff that we grew up with. And you're right, it is generational. You think my I mean, my mom would be like, mira, cante pendejo. Like, it's like, I told you so. It's not, it would have never been a conversation.
Accountability and honesty go such a long way, and it's apparent how you bring that into your parenting skills, especially on your socials. But for those of our audience who don't know, you're not just a fabulous father. You're also the wedding maestro. So literally, you deal with high stakes crisis for a living. So when it's 7 a.m. and the twins are screaming and the coffee is spilling everywhere, does your professional wedding planner self stay calm, or where does that mask finally slip for you?
It's funny. It's more like the other way around. It's more like, you were saying like, how am I in the mornings with the kids when all the drama's happening? For me, it's the other way around. It's like I'm actually a very uh I deal with drama like in my job in weddings when shit's going down all the time. When there's a literal kitchen on fire at the Plaza Hotel. Like I've been accused of being on drugs before because everybody's like, "You're so like this when stuff goes down," and that has everything to do with my like being a single father for 10 years. I mean, I'm newly partnered now, but for 10 years it was just me and those three kids, and so you know I just learned how to multitask with three kids with three very different personalities. And that's what made me, I think, to be the kind of wedding planner that I am. We're supposed, they say wedding planners should uh, be steady and should be calm, but but the reputation of a wedding planner is that we're all crazy and we're all insane. I actually do have the reputation of being chill and being calm. And yeah, I mean that's all I think I attribute that to parenting.
I mean, it's all about survival, right? I think you talk about it and, and whether it's your job or parenting. And so I know you said one of your secrets to survival was just saying yes to every single person who offered you help. So why is receiving help often harder than giving it? Like how did that humility save your family?
Well, you know what it was? It was actually seeing my single female counterparts, like the single moms. And, I'm not taking away how hard it was to
Yeah.
be a single dad, but what I was noticing is that, you know, moms don't, women don't ask for help. It's rare because there's like this societal pressure that women should know what they're doing. And they've got the motherly instincts, right? Something we don't have as men. And so, I think and what I would notice is like I would get applauded for things that women would never get applauded for, right? Like a mom would, as an example, like a mom can put on, she'll put on the diaper on, she'll clean the baby, put the diaper on. She missed the tag on the left, and she'll get judged for it. I mean, look, you're not putting it on right. You
Yeah.
forgot the tag. I could put on a half soiled diaper on backwards on my kid. Like amazing, like applauded, right? And 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 I think as a result of that, uh so when I speak on stage about grieving and about vulnerability and all that stuff, I actually point out the women in the audience and I ask who's a mom, and I encourage mothers to ask for help and to, if somebody asks, because we all burn out as parents. I mean, you've got a 4 and a 6-year-old,
Yes.
and wait, and how old are your kids?
John has no kids.
No, no kids, no kids, John.
He has my kids.
Yeah, yes. But there's definitely we're gonna burn out no matter what. And so I knew early on, being a widower, I was still grieving. I knew that, raising those kids, I was like, I can't afford to burn out every 5 days, every 5, 6 days. And so being a man and being like, nobody's going to judge me for asking for help. People are kind of like at the door waiting. It just made it so much easier for me. And so I kind of always relay that to a lot of women in my life because, I want them to, yeah, say yes every single time somebody asks for help.
Mega, mega kudos for figuring all of that out. And I'm sending a special round of applause to all the parents out there and a special shout out to all of those filling shoes that aren't traditionally theirs. And thank you for all of you modeling those new traditions because we need them. But Jose, speaking of traditions, we have one here on Out Loud and Laughing as we wrap up, and that is the this or that round. And unfortunately, you can't ask for help here, Jose. This is all on
Okay.
you. We'll give you two options and you pick one and you tell us which one it wins. And we'll just take a vibe check and it's fun. So are you
Let's,
ready?
yeah, let's do it.
All right. Are you more early morning me time or late night Netflix binge time?
Late night Netflix binge. Yeah, right now I'm watching Hijacked, which is a really good Netflix show right now. And I was up till 2 in the morning last night.
I'm hoping that it switches for me, Jose, because right now I'm in bed at like 8 because my kids go down at like 7:30. So I just try and stay on their schedule. So I would love to get to late night. That's amazing.
How
Okay.
about you, John?
I am definitely more Netflix binge kind of guy. I just finished my Heated Rivalry thing. I'm sort of rewatching it
Oh,
because I
yeah.
loved it so much. But I've just been busy and TV hasn't been on my list right now, so it's been more like late night work, I guess.
Okay, Jose, next one. Scruff or no scruff?
With scruff, I'd say no scruff.
Okay. We like it.
But who's still doing scruff these days?
Right? Like
I
I feel like the
mean,
whole scruff community went over to like sniffies or something. Is that even a thing?
I think
Yeah.
sniffies.
Craigslist.
Yeah. Cr- cr-
You're showing your age again, Brian. Okay, Jose. Brooklyn brownstone or a Manhattan penthouse?
Oh, Brooklyn brownstone.
Why?
Well, because I kind of live in one.
Yeah. So you want to keep it.
Well, you know, my
Fair enough.
right.
Fair
My
enough.
my house is actually the one non-brownstone on Geralman Street, but it does it's more like a townhouse. So it works. Yeah.
Okay, this one's more for me to learn. Would you rather make their lunch or just pay for their lunch?
Pay, honey.
Okay,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Let's get real. Who has time for that?
Yeah.
So when you're done paying for their lunch and you're exhausted from doing that, are you taking a shower or a bath?
Oh, I'm I'm sitting in the shower.
Yeah, I've done that. I actually love it.
I love it. Just sit down, let the
Yes.
water hit you,
It's like
and
a
just,
rain.
yeah.
Are we
Oh,
laughing or crying while we're sitting in the shower? I guess
yes.
that's also
Both.
yeah,
All
both.
of
All
yes.
of
Are
it.
you kidding? Flip a fucking coin.
Is that what day is it?
Literally.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a bridezilla or a child meltdown?
Oh. Oh, that's good. Do I I'll take the child meltdown, actually.
Okay, well, I'm gonna double click into my last question about laughing or crying because I'm really interested. Are you into a good happy cry or a good belly laugh?
I think we need a really good belly laugh these days, like, more of that.
Oh my God, 100%. Okay, this one's a little more like deep. So you have to, do you want to be remembered for your career success or how your kids treat people?
Oh, come on. How my kids treat people.
I agree.
Yeah. Success, yeah, I wanna inspire people and I wanna bring that money in, but yeah, it's to me, it's about legacy.
Yes.
It's all about the legacy, and you've definitely left one here with us today. You know, you call your community your village, and we're so honored to be a tiny part of it today. Where can our listeners find you and support everything you're doing? Because you're doing such great things, you're making such great content. Here's your time to shine. Tell us all about it. Where are you at?
I'm NYC Gay Dad across all the platforms, and I will say, we're launching a new podcast. Finally, something I said I would never do, but I jumped on the train, and it's called Love Take Two, and it's a podcast proving that when it comes to life and love, that sometimes a sequel is better than the original.
We want you back for that. We definitely want you back for more of that.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
for
John will be
sure.
a good one for that. He is living, breathing that exact story, Jose.
Amazing.
Huh. Well, thank you for showing us that your family isn't just what you're born into, it's what you build. We appreciate it, Jose. Thanks for coming on Out Loud and Laughing.
It was great seeing you guys.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.